everyone, welcome to 10-Minute Physiology. In today's video, I'm going to give you a short explanation as to what active transport is and what the NKP does. So with that, let's give it a go. So I'd like to start off by first describing to you what active transport is. So let's just say you have an ion called X, and the concentration of this ion outside the cell is greater than the concentration inside the cell. Now let's say you have a pump, and a pump is just a protein that acts as a transporter. So what this pump is going to do is it's going to use the energy released from the hydrolysis of ATP to drive the uphill movement of X from the inside the cell to the outside cell. So basically what active transport is that it's the movement of ions or molecules up their electrochemical gradient using the energy from the chemical reactions of either hydrolyzing ATP or GTP. So now let's apply this to the sodium-potassium pump. But before we talk about the pump, let's talk about the different concentrations of the different ions. So let's just look at sodium first. So the sodium concentration outside the cell is greater than the sodium concentration inside the cell. And the potassium concentration outside the cell is smaller than the potassium concentration inside the cell. Now the sodium-potassium pump has two subunits. The first one is the alpha subunit. So this is going to be responsible for mediating the transport of sodium and potassium, as well as the catalytic activity. The second subunit is the beta subunit. This is going to be responsible mainly for the assembly of the pump. So now what I want to do is focus on the different phases of the pump. So this first phase right here, what you should notice is that there are two pores. So the first pore is the extracellular pore, and what you should notice here in this phase is that it's closed. And the second pore is the intracellular pore, and what you should notice is that it's open. So this phase of the pump is called the E1 form, and this form allows sodium to move from the inside of the cell into the pump itself. So three sodiums move in, bind to their binding sites, and what we see is something like this. So then what happens is that the ATP on the alpha subunit is hydrolyzed into ADP, an inorganic phosphate. So the ADP on the alpha subunit will leave, and it leaves the phosphate behind. So the pump is now phosphorylated. Now this whole process drives the conformational change of closing the intracellular pore. So now both pores are closed and the pump is phosphorylated. So this form of the pump is called the E1P form. So the E1P form has both ends closed, sodium is bound to the pump, and we also have a phosphate bound to the pump. So then the pump will spontaneously change into this form, and what happens is that the sodium will be allowed to leave the pump. So this form of the pump is called the E2P form. So what you should notice here is that the extracellular pore is open and the intracellular pore is closed. So this allows sodium to leave the pump into the extracellular space. So then the potassium that's outside the cell will move into the pump, binding to its binding sites. So only two potassium move in. Then the phosphate will move out. So when the phosphate moves out of the pump, this causes a conformational change that closes the extracellular pore. This form of the pump is called the E2 form. So the E2 form has both the outside and inside pore closed. So then ATP will come in, bind to the pump, which will cause a conformational change that opens the intracellular pore, which allows the potassium to move in. So this form is called the E1 again, and this allows the process to start all over again. So in summary, active transport is a type of transport that uses energy to move ions or molecules up their gradient, and we also talked about the steps of the sodium-potassium pump, which I listed here. So I hope this video helped you understand these two concepts, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.